11 terrorists have been killed in multiple encounters in Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces last night had launched the operations at 3 places simultaneously in South Kashmir, 2 places in Shopian and 1 in Anantnag. 3 soldiers have also died in these encounters. The terrorists had gathered at these locations to plan more terror attacks, including targeting security personnel. The police say 1 terrorist was killed and another surrendered in Anantnag district, while 10 were killed in encounters in Shopian. And clashes erupted in Shopian after locals tried to march towards the encounter site. 2 civilians were killed and at least 50 were injured in these clashes. Many of the injured with pellet injuries have been admitted to a Shopian hospital. Train services between Srinagar and Banihal have been suspended and internet services have been blocked in South Kashmir. So that's the big story we are tracking at this hour. 11 terrorists have been killed in multiple encounters in Jammu and Kashmir, which started late last night, where security forces launched operation at 3 places simultaneously. Nazir Masoodi now joins me for more on this. Nazir, last time we were speaking, you were telling us that one of these 3 encounters was particularly fierce. Tell us about that.
Well, there were 3 encounters, 1 in Anantnag, 2 in Shopian. The places are Dayalgam in Anantnag, where 1 militant was killed, another was captured alive. There's a Dragad place, a village in Shopian, where 7 militants were killed. They were killed without offering much resistance, and they were killed in brief encounters after security force stormed the target house. But the real challenge for the security force came at Kachdora village, where 3 militants were holed up in a residential house. As the security force zeroed in, they came under heavy firing. Troops, used mortar guns, and they used IEDs to target the house where militants were hiding. But in the heavy exchange of firing, 3 soldiers lost their lives, and 4 other security men were also injured. And after 15-hour-long gun battle, bodies of 3 militants have been recovered from the rubble of the house. That was the place where the main encounter took place. But after all this, what followed was the ugly situation. The clash between protesters and the hearing that 1 more civilian has been killed after he was hit by a bullet in his chest. He was shifted to hospital, but he died on way to hospital. So very tense situation. Dozens of others have been injured. Many of them have received pellet injuries. Some of them have received pellet injuries in their eyes, which was the worst seen in 2016 unrest, when hundreds of people they partially lost their eyesight during the after pellets hit their eyes. So separatist groups have called for a shutdown for 2 days, today and tomorrow. Internet service has been suspended in most parts of the valley, in 6 districts of the valley. Train service between Srinagar and Banihal has also been suspended. While it is a tactical victory, tactical gains for the security forces by killing 11 militants, but on the ground, when we see massive groundswell for militants, 1,000 Sternek for the funerals, and civilian killings, that is actually defeating the purpose. Because the fact when civilians are killed, that becomes a problem for the security force, not in a sense that it is creating more alienation, but it is also a challenge for them how to prevent civilian casualties. Police are saying these civilians were killed when they were trying to break the security cordon to march towards encounter site. But I spoke to the Army's Corps Commander, Lieutenant General A.K. Bhatt. He said the civilians were killed away from the encounter site during the law and order situation, in a sense trying to tell us that Army did not kill any civilian during these collides. So that is the fact. The Army was engaged in the encounter. Army, CRPF and police, there was a great synergy because they received a tip-off about presence of militants at 3 different places, and they simultaneously launched these multiple operations in Anantnag and Shopian. All these encounters are over 16 casualties, 11 militants, 3 soldiers and 3 civilians have been killed.
All right, Nazir Masoodi, thanks very much for joining us with those details. And let's listen into that conversation you had with the GOC of 15 Corps Lieutenant General Bhatt.
Important thing what you told us during the press conference, that you have avenged the killing of Lieutenant Fayaz. And 2 of the 8 militants who were killed so far were involved into his killing. Can you give us some details?
Our inputs presently indicate to us that out of all the terrorists killed, 2 of the terrorists who were involved in killing of Lieutenant Ummer Fayaz have been neutralized. Ever since he was killed, in May, we had been especially looking around for those terrorists who had been involved in that heinous crime.
Last year, army said that some of the people who were involved were also killed.
Yes,
were they only people, or someone else is still at large?
With my inputs, and after these 2 terrorists are killed, I think there is a closer to that. Whoever was involved in that.
It looks today's operation, this encounter, by the largest operations and the heavy casualty militants have suffered in the recent past.
Yes.
Will this make any difference on the ground?
Definitely, any reduction in the number of armed terrorists does help in reducing their number, and also a message to others that kinetic operations will carry on, and anybody who picks up the weapon would be neutralized.
And DGP J&K Mr. S.P. Wade, during your joint press conference, he said they feel pain. You feel pained when any young life is lost. Do you share his view?
Definitely, I share his view that any local terrorist and young man dying is a loss of life. However, as far as the military goes, anybody who holds the weapon against the state or uses the weapon will be neutralized if he does not surrender.